talking. Stop talking.
Get him, Doug.
You got me? Roll sound.
I'm always got you, baby.
Speed. Scene one. Hold it. You good? Scene 122, Alpha, take 2. Marker. Okay. And action.
Hey. I said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, across the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you done what? You better go get your numbers up. Now throw me the oop, I gotta hire a Jerry Maguire.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy William Zillions, and we're back with another episode of iF0 Radio. Who are we? We're an international film festival that exhibits films and gives opportunities to storytellers on a mission to provide a rewarding experience to filmmakers all around the world. We're the best because we care. We care more about the filmmaker and making them tell better stories with their limited skills or resources. And more than anything, it's because the filmmaker deserves more than just credits. We exhibit, judge, review, promote, and reward experienced and new filmmakers who just want to compete among their peers internationally at the highest level possible. So that's why we're here. This is iF0 Radio. International Film Operations is the film festival itself. I urge you to check out their website. You can find us on all social media areas, wherever you push buttons at. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook at International Film Operations. Same name, both platforms. On Instagram, it's at int.film.operations, and on Twitter, it's at INTFILMOP. And also, if you're into it, Film Freeway, filmfreeway.com/IFO. Once again, I'm your boy William Zillions. We're here to talk a pretty important component to, I think, any type of creation. If you really want to get some organization together, we're talking about pre-production. And I don't think I could talk film pre-production in any way, shape, or form right now. I need help. I need assistance from a subject matter expert of God tier levels of awesomeness. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our guest, we have a Mr. Douglas, the big body Martin himself, all the way from Illinois. You feel me? All the way from Illinois, holding down the Midwest. Thank you very much, sir, for taking the time to rap with us here at iF0 Radio. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing? Glad to be here as well.
Hey, I'm chilling. I'm cooking right now. Just sidebar. I'm making a whole chicken. Got it in the oven. I'm gonna do a little basting. Before we go into the conversation, I want for you to introduce yourself to the iF0 Radio listeners. Give us your name. A little maybe where you're from and what it is that you do in the film industry.
So I'm Douglas Martin, as you said earlier. Originally from the great state of Illinois. I'm a military kid, so I'm currently in North Carolina right now. That's where my house is. In the film industry, I'm an assistant director. Just recently joined the Directors Guild, so I'm in the Directors Guild as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I don't know how many feature films I've done. Over 30 or 40. It's a decent number. And then I started with music videos. That's where I got my start at when I went to film school for grad school.
You and your friend, right? You and your compadre, y'all did like 30 videos together or something to that degree, right?
Yeah. No, it was good. He's a guy in LA that
I was reading through your website. I'm sorry, I was being nosy.
Oh, no doubt. I just updated that thing today too, man. It's been a crazy year. But I just updated today. But yeah, Wes, his name is Wes Armstrong. But yeah, we met in film school, man. We worked the circuit while we were in school. We were working while we were in school for those 2 years. And after school, we worked for about 4 years. And we did music videos everywhere. Everywhere there was work, we did it. And then eventually I outgrew that. Technology caught up to us. When they started coming out with the DSLR cameras, crews got smaller, and like positions like me as an assistant director wasn't necessarily needed, because then people started shooting music videos with like just a camera versus a whole crew. You know what I mean? So I kind of eventually fizzled out of music videos. And like, I got to shoot features if I want to do this for a living.
That transition.
The pay was still low, but imagine working 2 days a month on 2 days of music videos for like $200 a day, $400, versus working 20 days. Yeah, 20 days for a feature at $200. It's a big difference. So it's like, I just made, the obvious financial choice of, hey, I got to do something else if I'm gonna be able to afford life, because life is expensive.
Yes, sir. That's on life.
So, yeah.
Where did you go to? You're a Full Sail graduate?
Yeah, so I originally went to Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina. I have a broadcasting degree in news and television, background in radio. I used to have a radio show, an R&B radio show. I did an independent soap opera at school, which got me interested in the film. I did 6 episodes of that while I was in school at undergrad, so I didn't really have to go to class. I just was producing content before content was a thing. This is 2000 to 2004. So, the internet's not there and all that stuff.
It's like baby YouTube.
Yeah, it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's different because like that stuff was on VHS tape and mini DV tape. You know what I'm saying? I'll take you there. So
it's tangible. It's tangible. It's nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So then in 2006, that's when I came down to Full Sail. And that's when I met Wes and all those guys that I worked with down there from 2006 to 2008 while in school. I used the film program then at Full Sail as my graduate school, because I needed to, expand my knowledge from my broadcasting background to film.
Yeah.
Fell in contact with a group of guys that was working while we were in school, and everything just went from there.
Bringing divine intervention.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the topic of the discussion for this episode is pre-production. A professional of your stature, your capability, I'm sure you've been exposed to some really awesome projects with some very specific means of organization. So I think organization is something we should definitely give testament to when we talk about really great films. It's that good. It's good organization behind it. That pre-production. What's that been? What has that process been like for you? And what does it even mean to you as a filmmaker, for real?
Well, as an assistant director, I wouldn't go necessarily like filmmaker in general first, but as assistant director,
let's talk that.
The position that I do, you have to be a little anal with your organization.
Okay.
Because after I actually learned how movies are made, like 50% of the movie is made in prep, right? So when I usually get the script, if the script is not in the correct format, I then have to format scripts to get them in the right format so everybody else can understand them. Then I break that script down, break it down into a schedule, create a working schedule for the producers and everybody. They go through the final budget, we mix everything up, do everything that we need to do, then lock a schedule.
Okay.
That takes about, it just depends on how big the movie is. I've done breakdowns in 3 days, and I've done breakdowns in a month.
Okay.
It just depends on the caliber of the movie. You know what I mean? So it's a whole lot of moving parts. I mean, I really have to break down every element, from props, makeup, wardrobe, hair, special effects makeup, if there's guns involved, if there's stunts involved, if there's kids involved, actor schedules, especially on the bigger movies, because actors are always doing multiple things at the same time. So you have to, finagle their schedules and all that stuff to make a daily schedule work.
How does that? So you're somebody with experience with long format and shorter format work.
Yeah.
What is that? How is that experience differ between those two formats or durations of time in your, based off of the projects that you've been touching recently? Like, have you been primarily just been doing full feature length stuff right now, or do you have any like short film work that you're currently touching?
I haven't done any short film. No, I haven't done. The reason why I haven't done episodic, a lot of that stuff is union work. and I'm just now into the union in the middle of this year. So
Copy.
the plan is to get the episodic television, that part, as an assistant director, because working for 6 to 8 months out the year, on with union wages,
Yeah.
dealing with some good, it's gonna be a good year. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
it takes a little while to get there, but like for me, the process is still similar. Like I have produced a couple of music videos after I got them some of the features, because with union wise, I can't AD and in non-union stuff anymore, so I have to produce some things. So it's still the same process of like, hey, we need to get a schedule down. We need to figure out what we're doing, when we're doing it, where we're doing it, and just follow the schedule as much as we can and get the project done. It's all to me, it's all the same structure. It's just some of it's small and compressed, and some of it's a little bit spread out. Like the project that we did in Chicago that ended up in Abu Dhabi, that was over almost 2 months of work. We did, a month of prep.
That's incredible though. That it started in Illinois and then you ended up in Abu Dhabi for this. That's fire.
Yeah, because it's part of the story. It's part of the story that the lead girl was from Abu Dhabi and her family was over there, so we had to shoot some stuff in Abu Dhabi. So it's just a lot of planning and a lot of work goes into the logistics of on the producers end, just getting everybody flights to get over there and getting back home.
Especially now.
Simple.
What has that been like for you in this like new sort of era of creation right now that we're in, with having so many moving parts and bodies and equipment? What's that like for you, especially international? How's that been for you?
Well, I'll go back a little bit, because I think it was last year. It's not on my resume, but another job I had in Minnesota. That was my first project that I shot during COVID.
Okay.
And that was a big learning curve to everybody, because we're kind of still trying to figure stuff out, but we had an outbreak. Everybody caught COVID. We had to stop. We never finished that movie. You know what I mean? So like after that, because luckily I didn't get sick or anything. I just lost my taste of smell. Yeah, just lost my taste of smell for a couple of days, but that was a learning curve for me on how to approach working period during this period, because we still had to work. Bills still exist. They didn't stop. So after
gone.
after that, figured out a way to, all right, I got my shots, and we were getting tested every 3 days because we have to. For the non-union job, we were still getting tested 3 days in LA, and then we went to Chicago. We were getting tested every 3 days, and then we went to UAE. We had to have particular tests. They had the apps that you had to be present on the app. The cops could come check it at any time. And, it was just, it's more strict than outside the US. The US is very lax. So, just the COVID part of things was really straightforward. Hey, we have to do these on these certain days in order to move to X, Y, and Z. That's one schedule. Then we have the movie schedule that we have to do also. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like the doctors and all this stuff, the people that came in testing us, they're at one location, but we're still shooting somewhere else. So we have to go here.
Endless movement. It's just so many moving parts. Dang.
Yeah, so many moving parts, like transportation. You got people in different countries. Not everybody's phone works. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little tricky, but like just diving in deep into like organization and logistics. Not that many people talk about it, but that's I'm kind of glad you guys want to talk to me about it, because it's a very important part. Even if you're trying to shoot your first feature and it's in one house and you have one or two characters and a crew of 10, I still tell people to plan everything out. The plan's going to change, but if you go in there with a plan,
have that roadmap,
you get the curveball, you can adjust. Then you not have a plan, just winging it. Then you could probably go to fail. Yes, so it's just a lot of stuff that you really a lot of people don't see, because a lot of prep I do at my house. Until the week before production, that's when everybody comes in and we start working together in the office. And it's just like on Zoom calls. But a lot of stuff I do at my house, a lot of times I'm walking around talking to myself, trying to talk things out for it to make sense, for the plan to make sense. That I present it to producers, feedback, come back, adjust, and we play that game back and forth a little bit till we get a plan that we all agree with.
Do you find that you are in a space now where you are you able to pick the people you want to work with on projects, or do you feel as though it's a lot of changing faces often? What's your experience
Well,
like?
well, now union side of things, I'm
Okay.
not picking.
Okay.
Before I got into the union, I usually work with like the same 5 crews. Like, so I work with a crew in Chicago, I work with a crew
Mhm.
in St. Louis, a crew in Connecticut,
Okay.
a crew in
Shout
LA,
out to CT.
yeah, and then people in Florida,
Okay.
usually in Orlando. So those are like my 5 circles that I work with, and I used to get jobs from those 5 circles, or like what's it, 6 degrees of separation from somebody who knew somebody off of those
From one of those
jobs.
players. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm usually working with people, at least a couple people that I've worked with before. On
Familiar
the
with.
union side of thing, yeah, on the union side of thing, now it's a whole. To me, it's the beginning of a new network because
Mm.
as an AD, I'm not allowed to AD non-union stuff
Okay.
anymore because of my contract with the
Terms
Directors
of it.
Guild. Yeah,
Mhm.
so now I'm basically starting. I don't want to say starting from scratch, but I'm starting from like, hey, I know I haven't talked to you in 6 or 7 years, but people who I worked with before, who are producers and that work on bigger projects, I'm reconnecting with them now and say, hey, I'm in the DGA now. I could work with you. If you ever have an opening come up, hit me up. So I'm reestablishing networks that I haven't talked to in a while.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
it's a
getting
little
that.
slow burn, but with the pay bump, I'm allowed to have a little bit more grace with time versus
Good.
working on a smaller project that I get,
Congratulations, by
five.
the way.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You get $5,000 for a movie. It's not a lot,
Mm.
in the
Yeah,
grand scheme of things.
in the grand
That hold me
scheme.
over. Yeah, that hold me over for a few months. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
now I was able to take a mental break after this past summer, and I was like, I'm gonna take the rest of the year off because I can. I
Yeah.
really needed a break. Top of the year, I lost my dad, and then I
Sorry to hear
jumped
about
into
that
work.
shit for real. Part sorry
Yeah,
for your loss, sincerely for real.
thank you.
Mhm.
And then I just jumped into work because I was like, I need to get out the house. I need to do something. So it was just a lot, So I earned a decent amount of money. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit down, take a break, and let me get back into it next year. That's been the plan. So like now, I finally got out my funk. I was like, all right, I did that this summer, had some fun, but now I'm ready to
The
buckle down and
grind.
like, yeah,
Oh
grind,
yeah.
get back in grind mode. So it's really a filling out thing because like the Directors Guild, they don't give you job placements. You still have to find your own jobs.
Yeah.
It's just that they negotiate the contracts for you. So
Okay.
I'm gonna just grind like crazy and figure this thing out as I go because that's what I've been doing the whole time. Is
It
that
ain't
I had
never
a plan.
changed.
Yeah, I had a plan. It's like, all right, this is my end into the industry. I'm gonna be an assistant director because I fell into that at school. I
Mhm.
was decent at it, and then I just kind of took that track.
What is it? So what kind of projects are your favorite types of projects to like work on, or genre even? Let's talk genre. Like if you had to pick a movie genre that is stands out to you to be the most fun or the most complex experience as far as being an assistant director, which one would you go for?
All right, so I'm a little indifferent on this. So what I'm gonna say is probably
Let's
backwards
go.
of what everybody else. It'll be backwards of what everybody says. I love a romantic drama with nothing else happening because I've done so many horror films and I've done a
Oh,
few travel movies and stuff. Those movies are hard. Like they look
mm,
fun in all my pictures and everything like that, but the amount of work that goes behind it, like we're working 7 days a week, even though it's not on the clock. Those movies are hard. They're hard to
that's
do.
honest. I appreciate that
It's like
for
those
real.
big like the movie in Chicago. That was we were 4 weeks in Chicago, and we had 1 week in Abu Dhabi,
Mm.
and the cast was about I want to say 80 people. It was one of those movies
Oh,
was a lot of people.
yeah,
Cast. That's just casted people, not
yeah.
counting extras. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. We had big
It's a
party
lot of
scenes.
folks.
We had it was a lot of moving parts, and it's a lot of work. Now at the end of the day, those movies look great. There's a lot of stuff that happens. It's a reward when you see it. But those movies are hard, man. There's a lot of wear and tear
Mm.
on your body. And I'm fortunate because I never lived in California. I'm a little bit older. So I saw the game. Like if I live in California, I have to constantly work. You can't, it'll break you down. I have a friend in LA who works
Oh,
constantly
this
as an
is
assistant
great
director.
advice. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep talking. This is great advice. Keep
So
going. Keep
so
going.
I saw the game early. A lot of my friends that left Full Sail early went to California. lot of them are doing good, but they had the PA constantly while they were looking for AD work. I stayed on the East Coast and was an AD, and I didn't have to work all the time because I had money and I'm on place, and it didn't cost. Florida is a little expensive, but California is hell of expensive.
Yeah,
and now I'm living in North Carolina, it's cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So like my overhead's low, and I'm able to work and rest versus constantly work and get burned out.
necessary.
You know, so yeah, so like that was something I peaked early. You know, I couldn't really figure it out, but I was like, I'm not gonna go there because it looks like I'm gonna have to work more. You know, so it's not like I don't like working. I don't like working, 365, and then the next
Man.
year comes out, we're still doing
Killing
this.
yourself.
Yeah,
Killing
you know what I'm
yourself.
saying?
Yeah. It's
My
over for
parents
that.
did that stuff, so it's like,
Yeah.
like I want to work, but I want to work smart, and I want to work in a position to where we can make a decent amount of money in half the year versus 12 months a year.
I was gonna ask you if you had any advice for brand new or new to the game filmmakers out here, but I think that's a solid piece of information, tidbit piece of because I mean, sheesh,
Yeah. I mean, so
geography is not our master anymore either. Like we live in a
no,
place where
it's
we
not.
don't. Yeah.
You can fly because like what I did at the very beginning, like I wouldn't suggest doing this, but a couple like when I was switching from music videos to features,
Mhm.
people would call me a music video assistant director.
Okay.
And when I was applying for feature jobs, when I was applying for film jobs, because the work is still similar, but it's not the same.
How
So
so?
I had, scheduling a music video, just scheduling shots.
It's quick. I got you.
Yeah. And scheduling a short film, scheduling a movie, scheduling actors and all that stuff, it's a whole lot more involved in that. So you have to learn that process because it's a little bit different process from that. So, after I got a couple of short films under my belt, I jumped on a feature, and I didn't even get paid for the feature. They just paid me per diem. I was still living in Orlando, and I drove down to the Keys. It was a movie called Two-Headed Shark Attack. And they put me in the hotel, and they bought me food. And that was my first job I did as a second assistant director. I didn't know what I was doing, but I needed to learn. So my parents covered me for the month, and I just went down and did it.
Shout out for real. That's love for the sake of the passion too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to do this, like, it's not. I mean, for me, I don't. My background is military, and all my family, my uncles, my cousins, everybody's in the military. So me doing something like film, I don't have no aunts or uncles or family in the business. I don't have that. So when I found the AD lane, that was my end. Because I was like, all right, I'm gonna get in this way. Because it's not like people say, hey, anybody want to AD a movie? It's not one of those things. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's.
So if we in this space, then I'm interested to know, with all of the awesome evolution that you've done with your career over the last year, where do you see? Are you looking at are you looking more to work on more Hollywood stuff or more big blockbuster stuff, or are you more interested, because since you said you like romance dramas, would you be more interested in working for like on more projects that are maybe independent or small budget? Which has more of an appeal to you?
Well, usually, from my standpoint, I don't really have a say on genres or what type of movie it is. I get phone calls. I got a phone call earlier this week that said, "Hey, are you available for the rest of the year to work? Are you free?" And I was like, "Yeah." It was like, "Send me your resume." So I sent my resume. I haven't heard anything back. It's been 2 days, but that might have been the fulfillment of they have to reach out to local people so they can hire their person that they're gonna bring in. But like I get calls like that all the time. It'll be a cold
Now I
call. I don't know who the heck it is, and whatever the genre is. If I'm available, I take the job because you want to work. So that's what it is. So it's just I don't really have a say. But after I get into it, I prefer the romantic movies that are a little bit more simple on the back end because like if you do a lot of horror movies, it's a lot of strain on you. It's just that you can't, like, for assistant directors, you don't just go to work and get off work and go home and chill and watch the game. We're
What's your day
constantly
like?
doing stuff.
Give me like a how long is the typical day for you
So
on a horror job,
usually
on a horror
on
movie?
a horror job, we're usually first in. We're usually first in. That might be an hour pre-call.
Okay.
And that's just like basically this is non-union stuff. This is not
Okay.
the union stuff. So I'm talking non-union, hour pre-call. It depends on who's in makeup. I did a creature feature where we had a
Bars.
6 hour pre-call, on a creature feature because they're doing full body makeup, prosthetics, full body, and all this
Everything.
stuff. So yeah, so you have to come in. You usually the second or the AD will come in early just to make sure people are there working. So because like you're there to supervise and make sure we're on schedule 6 hours from now to when we need the creature feature, right?
Yeah.
So boom, we have him on like a 3 hour pre-call. I'll come in an hour before. But like, the makeup artist or their assistant will be there super early. They'll be working. I'll come in and check, hey, how long you guys need? How far are we looking at? And they'll give us a timetable. Crew call will be that next hour. Start working, they'll still be on their clock. They're on like the 4th hour. We're doing some other stuff, 3 hours after call.
Prepping
They're ready
for all of the stuff
yeah,
later on too. Yeah, just keeping the clock rolling.
So like, in the normal 12-hour day of work day, you add 4 hours for the other makeup artist that's there with the creature feature. I'm there an hour before, and then an hour after wrap usually, but it takes them like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get that all the makeup off. So, it just depends, man. Because like we have long days. There's no way to go around it. I wish there was. I wish there could be 8-hour days for film. But I mean, it's like I've done enough to like, the only way it could be shorter days if you have more days, but usually that's the money part.
Yeah.
If you have,
less days.
if you have $1 million more dollars to pay payroll, let's do some 8-hour days. That'd be great. But usually they have enough money for like 15 days to shoot it. So we gotta get it in, So that's kind of how it rolls. So I mean, it's just long days.
I like your perspective though, because most of the guests that I've spoken to so far and the episodes that I've done for iF0 Radio so far have been more from the creative standpoint, as far as their the execution of the filmmaking process. And you come seemingly from more of an administrative, more organizational, more like pre-production focused kind of lane. And I think that sort of shows the versatility of the opportunities that are in the film industry, especially for our listeners who, maybe they do have interest in being behind the camera, but maybe they just love film and want to see something come to fruition. And there are other roles and routes that you can take out there. So you're like the perfect person right now. I'm just really happy that we have you here to talk about, your experience as the assistant director. What's that like to be an assistant to such an important role on a film? Like, what's that pressure like for you? Has it been like really like a seamless experience for you, or do you feel like it's been hurdles that you've overcame over time?
I don't want to say it's seamless, but I don't want to say it's a bunch of hurdles. It's just, it's just a bunch of, the reason why I have so many jobs on my resume is because I was just proactive and searching. And, at one point in time, I had a search engine going for any time assistant director came up in any of my jobs, websites I used to apply for jobs on. I would apply for every job, even though I wasn't qualified for it.
Didn't matter.
And that's how I got my name out, So I was just, I would like, the goal would be to at least send 10 emails out a day, for a job,
Listen to them. Listen, this is great advice, y'all.
Out of those 10 jobs a day, 70 a week, I might have got two callbacks, and it might have been some BS on those two, but I just kept doing it, you know what I'm saying? Until I got somebody to call me back and offer me a job. Because, like the part of the thing was, I was not local to anywhere where I got hired. Yeah. So sometimes I would have to fly myself out just to get work, because I wouldn't pay the work, but in order to get those credits, I had to take certain risks. I'm like, listen, I'm not local. I'll fly myself out if you put me up. It's just simple negotiation, right? You know what I'm saying? So now in the union, they cover all that stuff. So I was looking to see what the union covered. I was like, all right, I'm not a union director, listen, you guys obviously need me. You guys called me. I'll fly myself out. Put me in a hotel. Put me in somebody's basement. Put me on a couch, whatever. Because I slept in basements. I slept in couches on people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
I did hotels. I slept everywhere but in a car. Just to get the work in.
Just
So
to get it in.
It's not pretty, and not everything's gonna be perfect, especially in this world of film. It's not an office job. The office is random. Any office space, you go to LA, you might have an office space. You're in the Midwest, you're at somebody's house or somebody's business that's connected to a restaurant or something like that. And you just open your laptop and you start working. So like everything's fluid in this industry. So like, you just have to adapt. And that's one thing my dad used to tell me, because he's military background. He's like, hey, you gotta adapt. You gotta figure stuff out. Not everything's gonna be perfect. And so, he used to tell me as a small kid. And so I've been doing that forever, just in life. And then I applied it to my work.
Absolutely. And I mean, and it's obviously been working. It's obviously been garnishing the results that you've, put your effort into to really, gain over time. So because I went to Full Sail as well a little bit later. I think I graduated in 2014. So I started in 2012. I didn't do
what program did you do?
I did the recording arts program.
Okay.
Now I'm hosting this radio show with the awesome people at iF0 because of the people that I had a chance to meet at Full Sail while I was there. But I'm not a film person. Like, I don't personally, I do YouTube content creation, but I wouldn't call myself a filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? But I really love what this opportunity is for me as a fan of film, to be able to gauge like the different levels of what it takes to finally push play on something, and finally to be able to have those emotional connections to that art. And as hosting this, I've been able to meet some really incredible storytellers and film professionals. And your story is so much different than any of the conversations I've had prior to this, especially because it's not specifically from the creative standpoint. I like that it's more analytical or more logistical, more concerned with the numbers. It's funny, when I was in high school, I went to this like a business conference, and they said there's 4 types of people in the office. There's a hawk, there's a dove, there's a peacock, and there's an owl. I think that owls are like very much the analytical, the number keepers. They're making sure that people, every checkpoint that needs to be met is met when it's supposed to be met at. I sort of feel like you're like an owl. I feel like you're like an owl, like you making sure that all of the numbers and checks is accounted for when it comes time for it. Do you feel like where you are right now with this transition into it, what is it that you're looking forward into? Any projects that we could check out for coming from you in the near future? Anything that our listeners could look out for you from, just if they want to follow you or stay tapped into your journey?
I don't really
anything you can speak
anything.
on, because I know you can't speak on certain things. That's another conversation. I know there's certain things you can't
I don't
say.
know when the 2 movies I shot this year, I don't know when they're coming out. I have absolutely no clue. What did I shoot last year? And then last year I shot it's a mini series it's the episodes called Black Veil. They're shooting down in Tampa, and we shot the first episode, which I was ADing, the month before COVID actually hit.
Wow.
And then they just now started shooting episodes again now. So like it's a big gap.
Break.
Yeah, it's a big gap for a lot of my stuff. So like I still work every now and then, but you probably won't see what I worked on for another year or so, another 2 years.
True.
Because like I usually don't
time capsule creations.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I usually don't post like, hey, I'm working on this job in this city at this time. I like post something, random. So it's kind of like you don't know what I'm doing, but I'm working. Just because like a lot of times the people they don't want the information out about what you're shooting when you're shooting it. So I can't really put the stuff out like that.
Privacy is important, ladies and gentlemen. It's important.
Yeah, I mean that usually comes from the producers and the directors about not putting the storyline out before the actual movie gets filmed. You know what I mean? It's basically that. So
No
I mean, like
spoilers.
I just tell people because like when I'm working, I usually just put stuff on Instagram and Facebook on the stories because like this last experience when I was in Chicago when I went to Abu Dhabi and after Abu Dhabi I went to Dubai because it was so close. I just streamed a lot of stuff on that and then I was just getting messages from everybody. It was like, Doug, I just thank you for doing that because number one, not everybody gets the opportunity to go to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I never thought I would touch that place. I was like, dang, that place is really futuristic, really cool, but I'd never be there. But being in the film industry,
and now look at you. Yeah,
being in the film industry, I don't know what's on my list, but I'm gonna end up somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
sir.
it's just that I just I don't know. I just kind of roll with it, man. And that's how people keep in touch with me. Usually my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm active. I'll probably never cut those things off because I also get job offers on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all these sites where all my stuff. I put my stuff everywhere. So that's part of the marketing thing. It's like, hey,
it's necessary.
I know I'm not an actor. I'm a non-creative position, scheduling logistics guy, but I'm pretty good at it. And hey, if you need me, I just keep my name out there because like when people come to project, hey, I need an assistant director. Oh shoot, Doug, let me see what Doug's doing. So that's all I ever do. Always put the bait out in the water. You know what I'm saying? The fish can't bite if you don't put it out.
Listen here, he dropping jewels, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all not tuned in to what he's really tapping in, look, this is great advice for any creative, I think. But specifically, if you're a filmmaker or you have interest in the film industry, get out there. You feel me? Don't be afraid to get in the room. Do what you got to do to be there and invest in yourself and risk it for the biscuit because these are your dreams, especially if you're a creator. I think it's super important. Yo, Doug, for real, like gems all night, for real. You been dropping jewels on us all day, for real.
Well, thanks, man. This is my first podcast, but I'm just being real. Like one thing that I can't do is sugarcoat on what you just said, like investing in yourself. Like I really didn't have no money to fly. So I would either use my dad or get a credit card to fly somewhere to work. It was a risk, but like if I didn't take that job, I'd be sitting at home doing what?
Worrying about not taking it or thinking about what if you would have.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you can't think about that, man, because it's like blind online dating. You know what I'm saying? I meet people online, I fly to a city, get paid, go to work, and then come back home. It's the weirdest thing, but it's the truth.
Hey, Gabi, that's funny. That was good. That was good.
So I mean, that's kind of what it is, man. There's a lot of people I don't know. You build up a rapport on the phone. You might have a Zoom or a FaceTime or something, talk to them. We exchange contracts. We sign some paperwork. We get on flights. We go to random locations, make movies, and come back home.
Would you say that along your journey here as a filmmaker, that you would possibly actually no, let me rephrase that question. That's what I'll do. Do you think that there's anything in your journey that you would change so far with everything that you've been through up until this point? Is there anything that you would do differently? You would like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, it's always in hindsight. If I had done this differently, I probably would be in a different place. I mean, some of the stuff was out of my control, right? For like the past 3 years. I moved back home with my parents about 6 years ago because that's when my parents started getting sick.
Okay.
Mom called me and was like, listen, probably need you to come back home, help my dad, help with her and all this stuff. Because my parents were a little bit older. They both passed away now. So I lost my mom 3 years ago in April, and my dad this year. And so we kind of,
sorry to hear that,
had to figure that phase out. So that's when my work kind of tampered down because I was in ebbs and flows of life. When their health was up and good, I could work. When they came back down, they had to come back home. I was doing that. I was navigating this for a while. A lot of people didn't know that. They just saw me doing a couple things a year and like, all right, well, Doug's doing whatever. But I was actually taking care of my parents the whole time. So like that block of time, like the 5 to 6 years, I really couldn't change. You know what I mean? Because I probably should have been in the union like 4 years ago. The way I was working, I would have had all my days. I would be able to turn my stuff in, get into the union, do whatever I needed to do that way. So I couldn't change that. But like, if I could change anything, I would have gotten to longer format work earlier.
Okay.
I would have tried to get into a network that I could get into, like get into an Atlanta network where TV and stuff was going on versus staying in Florida doing short form stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff came from not knowing business and how it worked. Because we weren't really exposed to that in Full Sail 2006 to 2009 era. We were all just music videos, not thinking about the bigger picture, not thinking about career. We were kind of like in the moment and not thinking things out further, right? So I would love to have done that, because I probably would have gotten into a better place financially sooner than I was working on the smaller stuff. Because the smaller stuff is great if you're a DP, camera operator, director. If you're doing everything yourself, you can make the same amount of money I'm making doing features, doing a few music videos a month. I mean, you know what I mean? Okay. So you could do that way if you have all the gear and everything. But that costs a lot of money. I didn't have the money to do that. You know what I'm saying? I had the money to do that. So I had to take the route of, hey, I don't have to buy, $20,000 lens kit. I don't need a camera. I need my laptop, and I use my laptop the Full Sail gave me, and the software that I got, and I was able to, work this way to get into the industry the way that I ended up doing it. So it's just all everybody's personal thing. Like if you got money, if your parents have financial stuff, and you can pick a better position, because I tell everybody, AD is stressful and it takes a long time to get to the money, right? And so one thing I learned business-wise is, in the business of film, if you have assets such as the camera, such as sound equipment and stuff like that, you get paid more because they pay you for your equipment and they pay for you. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting 2 paychecks for one job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I tell people, it's like, what I do is fun. It's cool. But there are better business routes to go if you like it. Because the most important thing is doing what you like. Like I actually like AD. I actually like it. It's fun, you know what I'm saying? It's like, my dad was like, pick a job that doesn't feel like work. Because, unfortunately, in their time, they had to take what was given to them.
Yeah.
I got to choose. You know what I mean?
Blessing.
So I was like, all right, cool. I got into this AD thing. I really liked it. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I don't let power go to my head. I would say I'm pretty much a natural born leader. So, like people that are natural leaders don't have to act like a, asshole on set. You know what I'm saying? You just lead. You just lead people where you need to go,
do your thing.
Get the job done, make sure everybody's safe and go home. Right.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I am personally. So it fit personally what I like to do. And and it just worked. So like, pick what you want to do, pick what you like doing that you're good at, and then you can make money off of that.
That's it. That's in a nutshell. I think something that I learned from you is consistency and weathering the storm to be able to accomplish your dreams and your goals. I say I've only had a chance to talk with you for a few minutes, but you're such an inspirational person to me from a creative standpoint, from a human standpoint, and on a level of being somebody who loves production. I really do think it's like a real gift and honor that we able to be here on this platform or on this plane of existence and take everything that we've gone through and use it to create more beautiful things to inspire those who come after us. And in this day and age with technology, how it is, we have so many tools at our fingertips as creators, filmmakers, music makers, whatever your twist is on creation, you could do it right now, and that's one of the hugest things here at iF0 Radio is that we want to talk to the professionals who are doing it on different levels to show you that you can do it at yours and reach endless possibilities of greatness within your own from your own creativity. But yeah, I ain't gonna talk your ear off, ladies and gentlemen. I want to put your make sure you put your hands together for our awesome guest tonight, Mr. Douglas, the big body. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy William Zillions here with iF0 Radio. Just want you to know that if you want some really cool gear for your favorite independent filmmaker, you should mosey on over to internationalfilmoperations.com and check out our new indie line. Why? I want to know why how do you get this nickname? Do you have like a big body Benz that you pull up with every shoot?
So it's a funny story. This is back in my undergrad. I'm in a drumline fraternity. I played drum. I did drumline at Historically Black College, and I got my first car. It was a Nissan Altima, but I didn't tell my guys I was getting it. I pulled up in front of the band room, and one of my older brothers, he was one of my mentors actually that got me into the interest of TV. He was like, "Oh snap! You pulled up in the big body," and it kind of stuck. It was a Nissan Altima. And the big body name stuck because I've always been a bigger dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it fit the personality. And then I kept it with my radio show. It's my email. I just did everything. It's been like that forever. You know, and I've never changed anything. Fire. So so it was like that. You know, I just pulled up with the Nissan Altima, a 4-door, and he called it the big body. It wasn't, I ain't had no big body Benz or anything like that, but it's just what it was.
If the whip is a big body whip, it's a big body whip, bro.
Yeah,
I ain't
for sure.
At that at all. So, Mr. Martin, where can our listeners find you and follow you? What are your social medias if they're interested in maybe like seeing where your adventures go in the future? Is anywhere they can push play on you at?
Yeah. Listen, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of it / the big body. That's DABIGBODY. You know what I'm saying? The big body.
Yes.
We used to spell, early 2000s, everything was with the DA. You know, it's one of those things. I'm aging myself a little bit. But you know how it was back in the day.
I do. I really do. And I stand by the DA. The works for it.
You know, so and then my website is my real name, douglasmartinjr.wordpress.com. That's more of my in-depth blog of just like blurbs of when I could put some content up about some of the movies I work on.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a lot of the behind the scenes pictures up. I don't really put them up on Facebook or anything like that. I just put them on my blog, because it's like mainly specific for people who are looking for stuff that I do, that people see it. Okay. I don't have like crazy numbers and stuff like that on my website. I just been pretty consistent, like putting up, content whenever I have it to put it up, and I put it there, and it's all chronological order from all my movies. From basically
it's
the
awesome,
beginning.
by the way.
From that,
I was on it.
Yeah.
I was on the site. I was doing some stalking and some research before this interview. So check out his website. It's awesome. It's super clean. I mean, like even on a cell phone, the layout was really clean. So full credit.
Yeah, I appreciate it because I did that myself. I don't know how to code websites, but WordPress helps me and do whatever. And just do what I do to get the information out. Because I'm always a proponent of helping the next person up, because I wasn't helped like that. Because I don't want to speak of the obvious, but it's not a lot of us doing what we do.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot of help. It was a lot of stressful times trying to get in. And so now that I'm in, I don't care. I'm helping everybody else behind me. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you what I did so you can get money too. Because there's a lot of money to be made. It's not just one movie, not one television show being shot. You know what I mean? So they're everywhere.
Work.
Yes, round the clock work everywhere, and get more people in. I'm a proponent of that, and I will never be a gatekeeper. Even to do something simple as to get my signatures I needed for the application process for the Directors Guild. I was begging people to sign this thing. If people come up PAing and stuff like that, and they eventually get to the Directors Guild, and they need to call and get a signature, call me. I'll let you in. Because I don't want what was done to me to done to other people. Get more people in. Yeah, get more people in, man. Because you're not going. Even if you take a job from me, I don't care. I'm gonna get another job.
See, this is the caliber of epic creative pools of people we pulling from here on the iF0 Radio. You feel what I'm saying? We got some of the best subject matter experts and professionals here to talk to y'all about advancing. Talk to you about pre-production. All the different levels of how to make it tangible, but also talk to you about their own personal experience so we could be better at the end of it. Yo, Mr. Douglas, the big body Martin, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this episode, rapping with me personally. I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm fired up. I might go have to record something tonight, get some editing done or something.
Yeah.
Friggin', thank you so much once again for your time. And once again, yo, this is the iF0 Radio. You feel me? You can find us everywhere on all the socials, on YouTube and Facebook at International Film Operations, on Instagram at int.film.operations, and on Twitter at intfilmop. And if you on Film Freeway, make sure you tap into us on filmfreeway.com/iFO. I'm your boy William Zillions, man, and by all means, stay true. It's still two form. When they speak of grace, knowing they didn't include me, it took me a while. I weathered the storm. Bitch, why you hating? Get better informed. No room to slip when the pressure is on. You wasn't with it to move it along. I said, excuse me, you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up. Bitch.